This is week 2 of the Final Fantasy 1 Spring Tournament. How y'all doing today?
I mean, I'm doing pretty awesome. How are you doing?
I'm pretty hype.
Dang.
Oh, well, let me tell you, I'm excited. Oh,
Yeah.
week 2 starting up. Let's go.
I don't even know. I mean, we've done so many sea seeds. I'm not sure if I can even handle what's happening after this.
Right?
Like, you got seasick?
What?
Oh, so we've got the Wheel of Destiny out. Is that true? I see it right there.
Oh yeah. So while I get my spinning fingers ready, anything particularly that you want to call out from week 1 as we go into week 2? Any notes or just general tournament updates?
Dangwoo, you got anything?
General tournament updates? Well, obviously, as we're going into week 2 for everybody out there, if you're going to schedule your events and you specify you want speed gaming in particular, please make sure to you have to sign up both on the Discord sign up sheet and also on the speed gaming itself to signify that you want it on there. That also goes for anybody that wants to volunteer to broadcast on that. So if you want to be a commentator or a tracker, you also have to do it on both the sign up sheet and the SG sign up sheets. So please remember to do that. Danny has asked that, and if you don't, she said she's going to run into your shins multiple times.
Additionally, thanks to Edgeworth, we are introducing the FFR Swiss Round Prediction Contest! So what we'll be doing is there will be a spreadsheet where you can sign up and place your guesses for who's going to win each matchup, and at the end of it, you win the valuable, esteemed prize of bragging rights.
I want all of that.
So
Give me all the bragging rights.
So anyway, without further ado,
Come on, big money, no whammies.
Come on, what do we got?
Earth!
Oof.
I know so many people that are not going to be happy about this one.
Yeah, that's rough times, USA. Because that is more than likely going to be a double dip of the Earth cave.
Never not Earth.
Never not Earth unless it is Earth.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm super excited because I'll call out and I will dive Earth first every time. So bring it on, folks. Let's go.
And so with that, I'm going to do one final refresh of our pairings list to get our official pairings for this week.
Oof.
I know I'm terrified.
Yeah, I'm only slightly terrified. I mean, I think all of us here are 1-0, and there's so many people I don't want to face right now.
Well, first up, we have Silverfire versus Thundercloud.
Oof.
Wow. That is a spicy matchup. Are you sure you just went right into that right off the bat. Like, I mean, it was just like, hey, we're not messing around. Let's get that week 1 or week 2 spicy matchup instantly.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, poor Silverfire is all I have to say. I mean, wow. Thunder is like at the top of my list of people that I think are going to go all the way, and not knocking Silver, but Thunder's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Sil's been practicing. They're one of our runners for the RPG Limit Break marathon showcase that we're going to do, so I wouldn't count them out. Either way, I'm going to be watching that match, if not commentating it. I'm already putting my claims in.
Just for the pure fact that Silverfire has already been practicing a lot because of RPG Limit Break, I think it catches them up a lot.
Yeah, anyway, coming up next, we have Kyuketsuki versus Kaosubalu.
Ooh.
New school versus old school. Q's been around for a while. Hasn't played a whole lot. Kao Subalu's been a very good player. I think she underrates herself a little more than she should, but that should be a really good match.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. That should be a great match. Q was around when I first joined the community, was there for me, helped me out, learn how to. And Chaos was part of the most recent Duckling Derby, and I think she came in either third or fourth. So she's definitely not one to count out, even though both of these guys are 0-1. It should be a really good race.
Yeah. All right, we have Kenny Star versus High Spirits.
Wow. That's another old school versus old school right there. Isn't Kenny Star one of the original speedrunners of the vanilla game?
I gotta admit, I don't know much about Kenny Star.
Yeah.
I mean, after playing against High Spirits for somebody who just came back and derusted, he was really quick when I watched back. And after, the only thing that stopped him really was air elementals with nuke.
And let's face it, that'll stop anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have Will Bloodworth versus Sketchy Metal.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say for you, Metal. Wow, you have the worst ability to draw the best players.
Yeah, I mean, you went up against basically Spellzap last week, and that must have been rough. And now you're up against 0-1 Will Bloodworth, who probably is looking for some blood. So,
I mean, play your heart out, have fun. That's all that really matters in this thing. So, and Will Bloodworth will teach you. So if you have any questions, ask him, and he'll help you out. Honestly.
So I haven't looked at all these pairings yet, but I have to think that this next one is going to be one of the hypest matches we see this week.
Oh.
Cheesinator versus Crab Cakes. Let's go.
Oh.
Cheesinator in chat is already.
Wow.
Poor Cheese.
So Cheese faced against Caleb in round 1, in week 1, and that was a very close match. Caleb gave it all. Now he's up against the reigning champion from last year. So I mean, Cheese can run. He is he's a racer. So Crab Cakes, I think, wins in a harder seed for sure. If it's a jet seed, this is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cheesinator put up one of the best times last week. So, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. That's a hype match right there.
You do not want to miss this.
Yeah, everyone throw out their Fs.
Can we put some more like explanation points or something, like bullet points, and make sure that everybody knows to pay attention to when that match is? Because I feel like that's like the match to watch all week.
All right, up next we have Captain Nerd versus Magius.
All right, a couple of newbies out there. Well, not newbies, because Captain Nerd played in last year's tournament, as did Magius. So I feel like that should be a pretty awesome match to watch as well.
I was gonna say, the Captain Nerd kind of has the gambler in him occasionally, and it kind of bites him in the butt sometimes. But he plays a pretty solid game for the most part. Obviously, he still has those new player errors, but I mean, he still plays pretty well in Magius. I haven't watched a whole lot, but he's been growing, or he's been improving a lot.
All right, we have Shadow Walker versus Grundylicious.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into this one. Grundy is somebody to watch out for. I say this because I have seen him hanging out in Artea's stream, as you can see when he faced against Demon. He did a 2-person fighter black mage, so if he starts getting that even quicker, I don't think he's on Shadow Walker's level at this moment, but I think he can give a lot of people a run.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Walker was our runner.
Sorry, you were saying about Shadow Walker?
I was saying that Shadow Walker was our runner-up last year. He came in second place. The only person to give Crab Cakes a defeat last year. So, yeah, I don't want to count Grandalicious out, but he is up against strong competition.
All right, we have Cyrannus versus Grigglypuff.
Oh, Cyrannus, we get to go back to our Monday and Wednesday afternoon races. I'm super stoked about this. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you gonna do anything fun for this one?
I mean, we'll probably race on a Monday or Wednesday afternoon. We could probably do something goofy like a draft or something. And I'm bummed out because I know that Cyrannus typically works nights. So, oh no, he's right there in chat, and he's telling me I'm going down, and that's totally fine. He probably will defeat me. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, either way, that sounds like a blast of a match.
Another great. I mean, that's another great matchup. Actually, that's another one.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Up next, we have Ichben Maya versus Sealy Faye.
Old school versus old school. As much as I know of, Sealy's been around for a long time. I know she hasn't been able to play as much as she would like to. But she can race. Ichben Maya, give him 4 red mages and low rolls on bosses, and he gets an insane run.
Yeah. I mean, it should be a very, very interesting matchup between those two, and I'm definitely excited to see it. Like everyone else has said, is definitely old school versus old school.
Mm-hmm. Aelmarkin versus Lord of the Synth.
Wow. Wow. Aelmarkin, up-and-comer, new school, obviously against old school. Lord of the Synth, I haven't seen him race as much recently, but I mean, he's been playing a lot to warm up for the spring tournament. Aelmarkin's, I mean, he's the number 1 contender in the Iron Gold for a reason. He's a great runner. Had a tough week 1 matchup. He's going to try and bounce back here. So Lord of the Synth really needs to bring his A game.
Yeah, and even though I took the game off Lord of the Synth, I was scared that entire race. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one pan out.
Oh, yeah, as is myself. I mean, Aelmarkin came around the same time I did. Lord of the Synth, a little more old school than I am. I think that after the race that he ran yesterday, he's coming back. He wants to. He needs it. He's feeling it.
Okay, up next we have Gouda versus Danderize. Darinrise?
Darren Dries.
Darren Dries. I promise by week 3 I will have these all down.
No, I'm going to be honest. This is a really good matchup. Darren Dries is one of the most recent Duckling Derby participants. I don't exactly remember where he landed in that, but Gouda was our original Duckling Supreme. So you've got like kind of an old school Duckling versus a recent graduate Duckling, going against each other. That should be really awesome.
Darren Dries has improved a lot. Actually, the Iron Goals probably taught him a lot, and he's been improved substantially because of it.
Yeah, we have Courant versus Life Reboot.
A couple of more Ducklings going at each other. Wow. Courant and Life Reboot have both been doing the Duckling Seeds very recently. They'll more than likely be part of the Duckling Derby coming up whenever the spring tournament ends, and that's a pretty hype match if I'm going to say so.
I'm just glad to see 2 Ducklings, as you said, battling each other like this, because it's a good way of having a good match against somebody that's comparable level. And Life Reboot's taken part in a couple Iron Goals, which is helpful, and Karen hasn't, but at the same time, I gotta give it to Life Reboot just because of the experience he's gotten in the Iron Goal. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. We have the Real Super Pleb versus Alisong.
Wow, a couple of more newbies. This is incredible. Alisong really new. Just joined the community maybe 2 weeks before the spring tournament actually started. Decided, whatever. I'll go on ahead and hop in the spring tournament. And the Real Super Pleb, the exact same way.
Sorry, you were saying about the real Super Pleb?
Yeah, I was going to say, with the real Super Pleb, maybe a month in the community at best. So, I mean, you got a couple of really, really new players going up against each other. That should be really good as well.
Yeah. And coming up next is a match that I personally am already super hyped for. We have our admin grudge match, Demarine versus Lord Fizzlebeef.
Wow. I mean, I got nothing to say outside of that. That's two admins going one-on-one.
I mean, I started coughing because I was so blown away by it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, wow, Lord Fizzlebeef, speed and power versus Demarine, more speed and power. Wow. They've both been around for a while. I know Demarine's taken part in a lot of other randomizers also, so maybe slight advantage to Lord Fizzlebeef, but I'm not counting on Demarine in this one. I think she wants it.
Yeah, I mean, is Demarine just doing the Arbiter / admin gauntlet? Like, I'm confused by what's going on. She had to beat Will Bloodworth, which is one of our Arbiters, and now she has to take on an admin. What's next at this point?
Oh god, am I next? I don't want to face Debbie, she'll cream me.
I believe in you, Leggy. I believe in you.
Well, that makes, hopefully, at least one of us. Okay, coming up next, we have Wildham versus Caleb.
Wow. Another admin up against a relative newcomer, done a couple of duckling seeds. That's pretty hype as well. What are you thinking, Dengmo?
I mean, okay, so there's like two different versions of Caleb you fight against, basically. You have the one where he goes really fast and he'll give anybody a run for their money. And then you get the other one where like he just tilts himself and then you have a really good chance at it. So if Wildham gets that second version of him, he has a good chance.
Yeah, he needs to forfeit Caleb for sure.
So what I'm hearing is we have Dr. Caleb and Mr. Tilt. There we go. Got the joke. Nailed it.
Pretty much right there.
All right. Coming up after that, we have Jake Hooper versus Ganon's Gone Wild.
Wow. I got nothing for this. I mean, Jake Hooper is old school as they come. Ganon's Gone Wild, not familiar, hasn't done any duckling seeds, so I'm assuming is relatively new to the community, as in must have just joined recently. And again, old versus new.
Yeah,
I mean,
not to mention that both of them are, deep in the Zelda randomizer communities. So hopefully they still decide to play FFR. I'm sorry, you still have to play FFR.
This is actually a combined race. You have to play Zelda and FFR at the same time. It's perfect.
Yeah. So after that, what we have is Gulof versus Sonirath.
Yeah. Guelph was around when I first joined the community. Again, and Sonirath, original, I wouldn't say original, but kind of a little bit more old school than me. Doing a lot of the vanilla speedruns. I know he does the PSP version vanilla speedruns. So, I mean, it's kind of older school versus old school kind of deal. I think that should be a very hype match as well.
And not to downplay golf, but I'm sorry to say this, but Sonny, because of our RPG Limit Break, has a lot of practice on Earth Flags. So I got to give the nod to Sonny because of that.
All right. We have Groggy Dog versus the Hangry Canuck.
Groggy Dog is another one that is a newer duckling that actually won the recent duckling derby we did. Ended up beating Gouda in the rival match for the Duckling Supreme. I got to give it to Groggy. The Canuck is a beast with a silver knife, but I got to give it to Groggy Dog. I'm sorry, Canuck.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your Duckling Supreme defeat. Hangry Canuck, obviously a little bit before my time, but he did take me out on the first round of Swiss last year, so he's got something to prove for sure.
All right. Cinema V versus Dark Moon.
Cinema B, a newer player, I believe took part in the recent Duckling. Actually plays pretty well.
Yeah, not the most recent one, but the first Duckling Derby we ever did.
Oh.
Both Dark Moon and Cinema B were part of. Both got knocked out in the second round of it. So Cinema B's been gone for a little bit. Dark Moon is one of our I'm trying to think, like, creative team. Should be very interesting.
Yeah. And so coming up next, we have our pair up, pair down. Danny got paired with Rumblefish.
That's, I think, actually a closer match than I think Danny will ever admit to. I know Rumblefish can race, but I think Danny's also a very good runner in herself, and I think she can give Rumblefish a good run for his money.
Yeah, I'd have to say that is definitely a even pair up / pair down. Rumblefish went 2-3 last year, so good to have him back, but hasn't played since last year. And Danny, one of our obviously tracking Supreme. I'm pretty excited for that one.
Coming up next, we have Wab versus Min the Mage.
Min the Mage is, I know, has played a lot of seeds recently. I haven't watched a lot of his results. Wab is, well, I've known him from Chaos Rush, if I remember correctly, and he was crushing it then. So I haven't actually watched a lot of it recently, but if you can do pretty well in Chaos Rush, that means you know how to go fast.
Yeah, I mean, both of these runners were part of spring tournament last year, and I'm sure they both have something to prove this year. So, again, another pretty even matchup. I'm surprised at how even most of these matchups are coming out right now.
Yeah, no, it's impressive to see. One of these days we'll run into something that breaks things, but coming up next, we have JLo versus Duran.
Okay, this one is probably the most uneven of them all. Duran is probably, if anybody's out there, honestly, this guy is a champ. Duran basically had never played Final Fantasy except for when he was a kid, and joined us and has been playing with us. So I give him all the props in the world. He's here to have fun, so make sure to welcome him with open arms and stuff like that. I give it to JLo for this, but Duran, he's a champ.
Yeah, Duran really went out there and did the best he could. Gouda and he was up against Gouda last week. I called his match along with, can't remember, I think it was Thunder. And yeah, he really has a lot of heart and soul, but I kind of have to agree with Dangwoo on this one. I'm going to give it to JLo.
All right. Black Knight versus Much Paranoia.
Couple of newbies that I don't really know much about. Hopefully you guys know about these guys.
Yeah, Paranoia's floated around the free enterprise community a fair bunch. I don't know that much about Black Knight, but I think we've got two newer runners who have strong skills in a lot of areas, even if it isn't like very focused FFR.
Yeah, chat helping me out here. Apparently Black Knight's relatively new, but is very hungry to the community and wants to learn and hopefully learn quickly.
So, I got a question for you two.
Uh-oh.
If I was paired up against Hypez, what would you say?
Well,
Leggy Starscream against Hypers Nova.
if I had something to say, but I'll let Dang start off.
That's actually a very good that's actually, I think, a very good battle. Hypes is quick. I think he's still learning the end game type of thing. I know he's asked a lot of questions with a lot of other the community members, trying to find his little niche, if you want to say, or his like, go-to. Leggy, I think you can make this really close, honestly.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, Hypes is tight, but not too tight. To be perfectly honest, if we're going to talk about him. But, I mean, he was around when I first joined the community. I think we were both relatively new at the time. Hasn't played the game nearly as much as I've put myself into. Whereas, obviously, Leggy has put this whole tournament together and is way before my time. So that's going to be a pretty close match, but I'm giving it to you, Leggy.
Aw. Well, Dang, how do you feel about Jazz Raptor?
I'm terrified of everybody, okay? Look, I have talked to Spellzap, and he says, dang, you would probably be kind of decent if you didn't want to meme all the darn time. But I just love the meme, so, you know, if it's a close match and all of a sudden I just want to meme randomly, I'm going to lose by like 20 minutes, so we'll see what happens.
All right. We have Uriel Man versus Demon Frog.
Uriel Man is brand new to the community. He's been doing a lot of creating some sprites. Demon Frog, pretty old school. I think that, again, you got like kind of a new versus old. It's pretty exciting.
Okay. I think this is the case of if Demon plays up like how he played against Crab Cakes, he wins this. If he, slacks, doesn't practice, doesn't take Uriel Man seriously, I think Uriel Man can pull up an upset. Because Uriel Man has a lot of the raw talent, or whatever you want to call it, to race well. So if the Demon plays down, he loses.
Uriel Man in chat asking Demon not to take him seriously. All right, we have Asher versus Sho Fukumachi.
Oh,
wow, I like that matchup a lot. Sho, known for Shonans, been around since before my time, but likes to play crazy flags. Whereas Asher joined right when we did, right, Dang?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean. And he's our async lead. He's coming up with flags all the time. Not crazy like Shonan flags, but still, that's a crazy match. And I don't even know who to call on that one.
I mean, if it gets really crazy, like the Fiends or Temple Fiends is really difficult, I might give it to Sho because he's constantly running the 500% stuff. But Asher, though, I mean, watching him, he's a smart runner, and he goes fast.
No.
Yeah. We have Garbage Speedwalker versus Demon RHK.
All right.
So that's Rojo versus Demon RHK. Unfortunately, I didn't see enough of the Demon's race.
Sorry, what about Demon?
Right. So, I was going to say, I think Rojo probably has the advantage here just because I remember him racing in OSV. But if the Demon gets a good look into the seed, I think can give Rojo a match.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Rojo on this one, only because he put up a heck of a run against Burt Reynolds last week. One of the faster losing times that we have. So just barely over an hour 30. He's a good runner. He's a really good. And like I said, I don't know much about Demon RHK, but I have to assume relatively new or from one of the other randomizer communities.
All right, we have Ali Jabrab versus Specty.
Wow, that is old school versus old school if I've ever seen it.
I mean, Specty, once again, I mean, I hate to say it, but that man can race. He's been playing for fun, and he still pulls up good times. Eliger Barap, another good one that does the same thing. Kind of just comes in and starts racing really well. I think this is actually pretty close. I have to give it to Specty, I think, in a very tight match.
Yeah, I mean, Specty's still really good. Really good. We actually raced a little bit earlier today, and he just whooped me. So, walked away from the community, or not the community, just from racing FFR in general for about a year, but still, yeah. And Algebra, kind of the same situation, was part of Chaos Rush tournament last winter, but is finally back, and I'm assuming both these guys need their first win.
All right, we have Avos Ruin versus Zenobian.
Zeno. He really started to make a name for himself in OSV. Got even better. He's been doing a lot of double anti-bingo against Caleb and stuff like that. I got to give it to Zeno for this.
Yeah, Avos Ruin relatively new to the community as well. I feel like I'm saying that statement a lot. And Avos Ruin, while he has not reached his final form, neither has Xena.
All right. Zarak versus Salty Fry.
All right, so I feel like Zyrak is also kind of one of those older players that's been around a while but doesn't race as much. Salty Fry, I know, was around before my time but has come back recently. I will say that Salty Fry has the quickest time of anyone that has lost a race in the first round of Swiss with right around an hour 20 against Shadow Walker. So, I mean, Salty Fry is not somebody to mess with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you lose the Shadow Walker by I think it was like 6-7 minutes or something like that, which was a very close match considering. I mean, this is. I don't even know what to say at this point. I probably give it to Salty, but I think Zyrak has a chance.
Yeah, and it was 128.47 is what Salty had. So the only loser to get under an hour 30.
Mm-hmm. Elastoid versus Sledge Kalami.
Okay, so Elastoid, old school, been around for a while. Rakes is a very consistent, very consistently knows the game pretty much inside and out. Sledge hasn't really been around as much, has played a couple matches, so I give it to Elastoid if it's a tougher seed just because of his knowledge. Sledge has a chance, but it's not. I don't think it's nearly as great.
Yeah, I mean, Sledge, I think, joined us during OSV last year. Elastoid's been around before my time, has the cool sprites. It could be anybody's game.
All right. We got Tarnin versus Burt Reynolds.
Wow. That is hype if I've seen hype.
I mean, the best part about this is Tarnin loves to run, funny stuff. Tarnin does what Tarnin likes to do. Says, hey, let's run Fighter Ninja, and runs an amazing time, or runs whatever he wants to do. Burt Reynolds is like, sure, I can run that stuff too, and runs equally as fast. So if they decide to draft some weird party, it's going to be a heck of a race. If they open party, I might give it to Burt in this case. But, I mean, Tarnin's a racer, though. No matter who he's against, it's a close race.
Yeah, the original Duckling versus the upstart Duckling. Wow, is all I have to say.
Ragnarok versus Bratster.
So we got the gambler himself, Ragnarok. He got the name because, well, he goes all in on stuff, and that's literally what he does. He will make that Marsh play. He will make that Earth play. He will make whatever play to try and gain an advantage, and sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. So Broadstar old school. I'd probably give it to Brat unless Ragnarok's gambling ways it pays off early.
Yeah, I got nothing. I could not agree with what Danga said. I mean, it's exactly. You got old school versus new school. Ragnarok the Gambler. It's an interesting match for sure.
We have Russian Bishop versus Devio.
Unfortunately, I don't know much about ex-Russian Bishop. Unfortunately, I know he's been playing a lot recently. He actually had a very intense match against Brat in week 1. There was a couple things that were holding him up, and he lost. But
yeah, I think these guys are a little more evenly paired because I know Devious went up against Lord Fizzlebeef last week, and Russian.
Sorry, you're saying about Russian?
No, it's fine. I was saying Russian ex-Bishop had gone up against Broadster, and Devious went up against Lord Fizzlebeef, so having these two go up against each other should be a little more evenly matched.
All right, as chat is calling, we have Spellzap versus One Fine Day, which means that we have Falconic with our bye.
What? He called it!
Couch bowl.
Couch bowl! The couch bowl has happened.
But on to the match itself between Spellzap and One Fine Day. I mean, both of these are extremely good runners. I think I have to give it to Spellzap probably 6 or 7 out of 10 races. I think One Fine Day can win. It's nothing against One Fine Day. I think Spellzap is just a little bit more in tune with the current flags themselves. I know he's played a lot of Randomizer and stuff. I don't know how much he's switched back over. So I think Spellzap might have an advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go back to last year's spring tournament, Spellzap was number 3, defeating Tyrannex in a wild card battle to determine 3rd and 4th place. Yeah, I mean, Spellzap's no slouch. One Fine Day did make it to brackets last year, but yeah, I mean, that is a really, really good match. And then everyone's asking about the Couch Bowl. Literally earlier today, Falk had asked if he gets the bye, he will take on his wife as an exhibition match, and well, sure enough, some 1 in 36 chance that he got the bye, and well, he got it. So now we will have an exhibition match between Falcon and his wife, Moist Mogwai.
Yeah, Moist Mogwai, known for her Mogwai powers, the original Duckling magazine.
Exactly right. I mean, that, which is funny because they actually just had a Couch Bowl in Tecmo Bowl. So, Falconic, she's going to want revenge after that.
Anyway, so somehow, like, I promise, I pressed the button once, the system randomly made all of these pairings. There was no, like, auditing at all. I pressed the button and started reading them off. But holy crap, these are incredible. Poor Cheeseinator, though.
I mean, beyond Sketchy Metal, unfortunately drawing a tough matchup, I think a lot of these are very competitive, and there's a lot of good ones. Silverfire versus Thunderclaw, Cheeseinator, Crab Cakes. Shadowwalker, Grandylicious can be a very interesting matchup. Elmark and Lord of the Synth. I mean, I'm just reading off a couple of them. Lord Fizzlebeef and Demarine is going to be another intense matchup. There's a lot of them. You did a great job, Leggy, on your button pressing.
Yeah.
It's my... I just grabbed my scene rolling skills, you know?
Was that a Tazbot I noticed?
Yeah, there was a bit of an RNG manip.
Okay, I like it.
So real quick, do not forget to check out Edgeworth's prediction thing. Fill it out. You'll get some points for doing all that stuff. And then again, fill out the sheet. We'll have it in the pins on the Spring Tournament 2020 thing to schedule your matches. If you want to be specifically on speed gaming, of course you have to schedule the match on our Google script and on speed gaming's site. And if you want to sign up for comms tracking or whatever on speed gaming, you have to do both as well. And I just wanted to throw that out there before we got out of here before we forgot.
Oh, and I just want to say that if you've already, talked with your opponent and settled on things, matches are already up. So go ahead and get those in as soon as you want.
Exactly. Go out there, have fun, challenge your people or your opponents. And Leggy, thanks once again for doing this for the weekly. Gregley, thanks for asking if I wanted to join you. Good times.
Yeah, I had a really good time. Thank you, Leggy, again for hosting these. I'm really excited to get week 2 going. Earth Week. Double dip in Earth.
Yeah. So with that, I just want to thank both of my friends in the booth today, and let's get out of this and into actual gameplay. Talk to y'all later.